Your WavyOcho react to Hulk Hogan needs to be stopped.
Hulk Hogan is no doubt one of the most successful wrestlers of all time. He is a true icon. He is the man who helped make wrestling what it is today. And
yes, that's a fact. He paved the way for a lot of these wrestlers. If it wasn't for him, wrestling would be where it's at right now. That's a fact.
Hogan has done it all in his life. Broken records, wrestled all around the world against the greats, been in movies, made hundreds of millions of dollars, and even after all the controversy, his place as a legend will forever be cemented. But despite that, despite being on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, despite being a true pop culture icon who has done it all, despite being one of the most recognizable people in the world, this idiot cannot stop lying. Hulk Hogan is now 70 years old, and even after living a life that—
Damn, what is he lying about though? Cause I seen I think on Instagram saying like Hulk Hogan's lying about something. What is he lying about?
We can only dream of. This bozo for some reason cannot stop capping. It has been a common thing for the Hulkster for his entire career. Stories of lies, politicking, backstabbing, you name it, which in the wrestling world is nothing new. But even now in 2023, after his career is behind him, even though now it's time to ride off into the sunset and just live his life, he still has this need to lie about anything and everything and just lie about the most ridiculous shit. Last week, clips of Hulk Hogan appearing in the Joe Rogan podcast went viral on Twitter, and tons of people for the first time ever finally became aware of Hogan's legendary fables. Yo, this 3-hour podcast was filled with some of the most BS stories you could possibly imagine, but nothing was more insane than the story of Hulk Hogan and the Make-A-Wish kid. Hogan told the story to Joe Rogan of this one time how he was in London, England at Wembley Stadium, and alongside Michael Jackson and Mr. T, yes, Michael Jackson, he was backstage meeting Make-A-Wish kids, and he apparently saw this one kid backstage who was in real bad shape, and he was a huge Hulkamaniac, and he basically told the kid who was dying that he was able to get him front row seats to watch the rest of the show. And he says, quote, "So I went to wrestle and I kept looking, and the kid wasn't there. So when I came back from wrestling, I was the last person to wrestle in the main event. I said, what happened to the family out there, brother? They said the kid passed away." So apparently this kid dies during the show, and then Hogan goes on to say how those tragic events led him to making and releasing a song titled Hulkster in Heaven. A song that, yes, actually does exist and features lyrics such as
Hulkster in Heaven? So his fan was a Hulkster. Shit, okay.
I saw it on TV. I guess I'll be an empty seat when I wrestle at Wembley.
And on the surface, it's like, wow, what a beautiful story, what a great tribute song, you know, it's a really sad story, but props to the Hulkster for, you know, going out of his way. Until you realize Hulk Hogan has never wrestled in Wembley Stadium in his life. The only WWE show that ever took place at Wembley Stadium was SummerSlam 1992, and of course, Hulk Hogan wasn't even with the company at the time, let alone on the show, let alone in the main event, and most of all, ladies and gentlemen, why the f*** would Michael Jackson be there? This guy really made up a story to sell a song, and yet 31 years later, he's still sharing the same story for some reason to come off as a superhero, and it's like, Hogan, you've done a lot of charity, we know that. I'm sure you helped a lot of kids in your life, but why in the blue hell are you still telling this fake story about some dead kid at Wembley Stadium? Like, yo, it takes 2 seconds to find out that you've never wrestled there, bro. Why are you doing this? Ladies and gentlemen, Hulk Hogan needs to be stopped. And I know what you're gonna say, it's too late, it is who he is, it is what it is. But guys, it's bad, and it's getting bad. Like, I know he's been lying for a long time, but I thought by now he would have stopped. But when I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast, my jaw was on the floor. There is absolutely nothing that Hogan hasn't lied about. He might be the worst liar the world has ever seen. I think we're all aware by now of the legendary story that Hogan has told many times about how he was very close to becoming a bass player for Metallica. Yes, Hogan almost became a bass player, apparently, for one of the most successful rock bands of all time. I played bass guitar, and I was a big pal with Lars Ulrich, and you know what, dude, he asked me if I wanted to play bass with Metallica in their early days, but it didn't really work out. Yeah, Hulk, your big pal also said in an interview a few years ago that he has never met you in his life. I'm telling you, some of these Hogan lies are so crazy, I cannot—
Damn, bro. Even that nigga say he don't know you. He don't even know Hulk Hogan.
not believe this stuff actually came out of his mouth. Like, he has to be trolling. Hogan once said that he was offered to fight on the first ever UFC card. Yes, apparently back in 1993, this guy right here was considering fighting for real. We looked at it and it was very violent, and the referees weren't stopping the matches and letting guys get beat up when they should have been stopped. Hogan said, we just didn't want to have any...
How would y'all feel like if Hogan was to do that back in 93, bro? Like if Hogan joined MMA in 93, how would y'all feel about that? Let me know.
Part of it. Oh, okay, Hulk, my bad. It was the violence of the referees, right? It turns out the co-creator of the UFC came out and flat out said I call bullshit on Hulk Hogan. But hey, Hogan did once say that back in the 70s he used to wrestle against Pride fighters and they would shoot on him, meaning fight him for real. So maybe the Hulkster did have a little MMA experience, right? I mean, Pride was a Japanese MMA promotion and he's saying that he fought against them back in the 70s. The only issue is Pride Fighting Championships was founded in 1997. Hogan versus Andre is one of the most legendary matches in wrestling history. The night where Hogan stomped Andre the Giant in front of 90,000 fans and shook the wrestling world. Well, the night only gets even more legendary when you hear Hulk Hogan, what he has to say about the night. Yo, every time Hogan tells a story about this night, it just gets even more cracked out. Every time he tells a story, it seems like Andre just gets fatter and fatter and he just gains a few hundred pounds every time. Sometimes he tells a story Andre was 500 pounds. Another time he was 600 pounds. At one point he was 800 pounds. And just to add a little more spice, Hogan loved was telling people that going into this match, he didn't know if Andre was going to cooperate and that he didn't know the finish of the match going in. Yeah, Hogan, I'm sure you went into the main event of WrestleMania not knowing what the hell was going to happen. But my absolute favorite Hogan line regarding Andre has to be the one time he said how he slammed Andre at WrestleMania and a few days later, Andre passed away.
I wrestled Andre the Giant with these boots on, and then a couple days later he passed on. These are my favorite pair of boots.
Hulk, WrestleMania 3 was in 1987. Andre died in 1993. What the f*** are you talking about? Hulk Hogan once claimed that back in his heyday he would wrestle 4 times in a year. And I know what you're saying, Pav. There are only 365 days in a year. Well, I don't know what you want me to tell you, but Hogan claimed that since he traveled so frequently between the United States and Japan, the time difference and going back and forth on the same day made the 400 days a possibility. Yo, what kind of brother science is this, man? But now it gets better. What about that one time the Undertaker tombstoned Hogan on a chair and Hogan complained that he broke his neck and that he was gonna die and the Undertaker's unsafe?
Hogan didn't even land on his neck, though. That's the thing, though. Undertaker didn't even break his neck.
And this is the worst day of his life. He's injured forever. He can't wrestle. And then everyone went back and watched the tape, and you realized his head never hit the ground. Like, it never hit the chair. Really, Hogan? Hogan has also made this claim. This is probably the funniest one. He made a claim that one night in Japan in 1983 when he was wrestling Antonio Inoki, he beat up Inoki so bad, mind you, it's a fake wrestling match, that he beat up Inoki so bad that Inoki almost died in the match, and Hogan brought him back to life by doing CPR. Nah, man, nah. Yo, there are just so many stories. There's so many things he takes credit of. He's like, I discovered The Undertaker. I discovered The Big Show. I discovered Kevin Owens. This guy even said on the Joe Rogan podcast of...
I mean, he did pay the way for them. I'm not going. He did pay the way for them. You gotta admit that, because like I said, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, wrestling wouldn't be where it's at right now, bro. He's a legend. You feel me? So, yeah.
2 weeks ago, that when Brock Lesnar was in high school, he was quote-unquote keeping an eye on him on his wrestling career. Yeah, I'm sure Hogan was keeping tabs on a high school wrestler from fucking South Dakota in 1999. But better yet, after that, Hogan even says he was the first to wrestle Brock when he came out of the UFC in 2012. Guys,
guys, please tell me, does this look like Hulk Hogan to anyone? Please let me know, because there is no way this guy can actually be serious. I really think that Hogan is convinced that he's Forrest Gump. Like, yo, if there's anything of significance that's ever taken place, somehow Hogan was there, somehow Hogan was involved. I wouldn't be surprised if he sees this video and says, you know, I don't know, dude, I don't know why you turned on me, brother. 5 years ago, I told him to start the whole YouTube channel. It's really insane, and I can't wait for the interview to drop soon where Hogan's gonna tell the world that he was almost a New York Yankees player or something. You gotta be shitting me, bro. It's so funny, but it's so sad. And to this day, in 2023, he's still doing it. He's still at it. Why, bro? You are 70 years old. There is no reason to do this anymore. Hulk Hogan needs to be stopped. The man is 70 years old, and let's be real, he has probably, what, 10, 15 years left? And instead of spending them lying about almost being in Metallica, tell us the real stories of your career, because that's what we want to hear. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Hulk Hogan, the biggest pro wrestler of all time, is also the biggest liar of all time. And honestly, what a perfect combination. What a lifestyle. In the comments down below, please let me know what are your favorite Hulk Hogan lies of all time. Whether they're in the video or not, let me know down below, because we gotta let these stories live on. So at this point, this is what we have from Hulkster. And like, yo, who knows? Maybe in 70 years, people might actually believe this stuff. Like, yeah, UFC 1 featuring Hulk Hogan. Like, what? It's your boy Pat, aka Wrestling News. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys soon. More content coming soon. Until then,
That's the vid though. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about Hulk Hogan, bro. Do y'all still jack him? You know, after is like, after like all the shit that he done for the wrestling business, do y'all still jack him, bro? Like, for all the black people, right? Like, do y'all still jack him or not? Because like, because after that, racist shit that came out of him. You feel me? I know it was 8 years ago, but do y'all jack him or do y'all not? Let me know. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, y'all know the vibes. WavyOcho checking out you are.